Well, hello everyone. The traffic's getting bad. Larry Satchwell here. Pardon the noise. I tried to get this started a couple hours ago, but I was on my way back home from Home Depot, and a guy ran a stop sign, and I had to slam on the brakes, and the cement bag flew to the front of the pickup truck and burst open. So I've been cleaning up, trying to get it out of my truck bed for a while. I'm going to make a bird bath today. Nothing original here, but this is my first time trying. I first saw this probably on the Today Show with Martha Stewart maybe 10 years ago, and I was fascinated by it and wanted to do it ever since. I almost waited too late. This is the last nice lotus leaf. I've got a mound of sand here, covered it with some plastic. My lotus leaf fits over it well. It's not too early to be thinking about taking care of your birds during the winter, and water is one of the most critical things. And this is what I put the sand mix in. So I stood at the Home Depot thing in their masonry aisle for a long time, and I finally decided to get this sand topping. Its ingredients are exactly what you would do if you were making one of these out of Portland cement and sand, because that's what this is, Portland cement and sand. I'm also going to try to make it very thin. And I know this is my first attempt ever. I don't expect it to come out perfect. But what I would like to do is be able to put this over by the bird feeders, and when it freezes, turn it upside down and have another one that I can have with water so they have it constantly and all the time. I read that to make this thin, I need to add this fortifier, and I'm going to add water and an equal amount of fortifier. And I'm going to mix this up with my hands. That's why I've got the gloves on. This stuff really dries out my hands. I've mixed cement, worked with cement a little bit, and I know that it really dries my hands out. I'm hoping I don't have too much liquid in here. I've watched a lot of videos. There are tons of videos on how to do this on YouTube. And I'll leave a link to below some of my favorites. There's a lady in Dublin, Georgia, just a sweet lady that makes great looking stuff. And there's a guy that does this as a living, and he's got some great tutorials. So I'm not going to try to give you a tutorial on this because this is my first attempt. And that would be kind of presumptuous and foolish of me to tell you this is how to do it. I'm telling you, this is how I'm doing it. I think that's pretty good. So, in the tutorials I watched, kind of started at the edge here and pushed it down to the edge. And I'm going to post this video whether it's successful or fails. At least you'll know then that you can't use sand topping. But I didn't see anybody on YouTube yet that said you couldn't. But like a lot of other YouTubers, I'm just pretending to know what I'm doing. The other thing that complicated stuff when I was getting this out of the truck was that it started raining. So that made it, I really had to hustle to save what I saved. And I think I saved about 90% of it. And then I washed the truck out real good. I don't want this thing to be really heavy, but I know I can't be too light. So I'm going to fortify it here with some 1/2-inch wire. If more than 10 people watch this, I'm sure I'll get some comments on exactly what I did wrong. Alright, I think I'll put a little more fortifier in here because it's starting to dry out quite a bit. Now on the edges here, I'm just going to try to hide this wire because I have it, I think, as thick as I want it there. We have some other water sources for the birds, but those freeze over too during the day. I'm really pleased with this so far. I'm going to add a little more here on the top. All right, well, that was in real time. I don't know how much time that took, but I'm really pleased with this. Flatten it out a little bit here. I'm going to leave it just like this overnight and try to check on it in the morning. However, I am going to put a feed sack over the top of it, this old one. Keep some of that moisture in. Thanks for watching. It's been a full 24 hours, but I think it's set up enough. And finally, after 7 days of rain, the sun broke out about 2 o'clock this afternoon. All right, so I guess let's just kind of lift it up here. It's coming off pretty easily. Get my hand under it. Now, Lotus has it does not like water. It rolls right off of it, so this is coming out of here really easily. Oh, wow. I am super excited about this. A lot of little holes I'm a little disappointed in, but overall, it looks great. Now, I used that wire because I couldn't find at my local store the reinforcing nylon or fiberglass stuff, and I would have rather used that, but I think this is going to be just right for what I want to use it for. Now I'm going to leave this out here, and I think I will let this settle right in here. That's kind of what it's going to do in the garden. I'd like to get some of that off of there. Let me get a wire brush. So while all this is still soft, I just want to kind of smooth off some of these edges. My wife empties our dehumidifier out this back door every morning, and so I know I need to leach this out a little bit before I can paint it and before I can use it safely for animals. So what I'll have her do is pour that water from a dehumidifier in here, and then I'll dump it out and just let this leach out every day. But for my first try, I'm excited. Makes me want to do more. It's not very heavy, and it's not cracked. I'm going to leave it just like this and let this cure for a couple of days under this plastic. So once this is cured, I'll paint it. It's been 2.5 weeks since I unmolded this, and each day I've been curing it, washing it out, and then dumping it out, letting the water sit in here for a while. Right now it's bone dry because I let it sit out for 2 days. So it's time to give it a wash. A coat of paint here that's going to be thinned down. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and wet the whole area here. It's already holding water. And again, this is just my research I've done in trying to do this. I got some great advice from William, I think Struhler is the way you pronounce his name. And I really appreciate that feedback he gave me on when I redid the little rabbits there last time. All right, I think I'm going to do the back side here first. And I've got a Color Max here from Lowe's and a little bit of water in here. This is an indoor-outdoor paint. Never seen a seal like that on there before. A little O-ring on it. I'm hoping that doesn't have to go back. So I'm gonna, I don't have a lot of water in here. I don't know how much, maybe a little too much. Can always add more. Gonna make about a 1-to-1 ratio here, hopefully. Stir that up a little bit. And flood this on here. That really went on easily. Now, I'm going to use some painter pyramids here. Maybe 3. And do the same thing on the inside here. Low humidity today, so I'm hoping this is going to dry relatively quickly. I'm using black because I anticipate this freezing overnight, as I use it as a bird bath, and then I can flip it over and let the heat of the sun absorb into that black cement on the back. All right, I'll let this dry thoroughly, and then I'll come back with a dry brush. Well, this is probably where I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna use a Drybrush Technique here, and I've always wondered how they kept those veins in the leaf. So it's my understanding you take most of the paint off the brush. And this is the same paint as the color of my house. And you might be saying, well, I wonder why he's using that. And the answer would be, because I have it. This really shows all those little pits. But that's okay. I don't think the birds are going to mind. Maybe I'll get better at this if I keep doing it. Let this dry overnight, and tomorrow I'll put a clear coat of water-based poly on it. And after that dries, it'll be ready for testing. I am certainly not an artist. Well, I'm going to call this finished because I don't know what else to call it. So after a while, I don't know if this looks any better. It probably doesn't look any worse, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching.